Good morning, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the interview with Beef Tech. This is Beef Tech on location for American Woman a few weeks ago, talking to Tank. Here he is on location.
The interviewer with Beef Tech.
All right, this is Beef Tech again. We're back with Tank on his scenes over here. This was his major scene, and they actually got it done really quickly, and it was easy to do. It was a more physical scene. Tell me a little bit about what happened.
What had happened was, we rehearsed three times in 5 minutes.
Something like that.
Yeah. And we shot the scene in about 30 minutes max, give or take. What I find extremely wonderful and yet funny at the end of it was, as we were fighting, doing our choreography, beating each other up, I remember her stabbing me right over here at this angle. I remember me slamming her on the floor here, and we were beating each other up and then beating her up. And what's amazing is right when we finished with that scene, right before you yelled cut, we actually had the police show up.
That's right, man. That's right.
The police came because they thought that I was actually beating her up so bad that they decided that was it a DoorDash
Something like that.
Passed through here, even though we have our crews and the camera and everything and the mics up, so you would think it was visible enough to understand that we're filming. But as we're shooting the scene, suddenly 4 or 5 police officers show up, and it was the most awkwardest and funniest moments. They were like, "Are you guys okay?" Somebody phoned in of a woman getting the shit beat out of her, and we're like, it's a set, it's a movie, and they thought it was funny.
I mean, red flag is you got a 70-year-old lady in a wheelchair, and the stupid guy.
Interestingly, funny. What I don't get is that we had our equipment set up, and this person thinks that I'm actually beating this woman up to death, and then I believe that the phone call came that somebody was being stabbed, and she had her obviously prop knife, and when she stabbed me, I believe they were so confused they decided to call the authorities. But still, if you see like the mics and the camera and people standing, how do you not understand that this is a film shoot? I don't know.
Well, they sent a lot of cops. I guess they were telling me there was cops behind us too. Like we got surrounded.
Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Oh.
Yeah, they told me there was more cops. They took off, but there's more over there. Whole bunch.
Wow. Okay. I remember like 4 or 5.
Well, the good thing is they were really nice, the police, and they actually took pictures with us too, which was really cool.
That was the best. When we took a group picture with them, that was awesome. That was one of the main right-away posts on social media.
You know, I have to mention this. This is really weird. We're back on location here, and on footage, it looks like the alley's a lot wider than this. It doesn't look like it's so small. I don't know. It's bizarre. Recording stuff is bizarre.
I remember that when we shot this, I don't honestly remember this alley being that small. Actually.
No, I thought it was a lot bigger.
I felt like it was way bigger. I don't understand why it feels so small now. But you know what though?
Because we had the mat right here, and
yeah,
I think maybe because you guys were kind of like really tight against the wall or something like that. Maybe that's why. I don't know. It looks totally small to me. So yeah, because I think she took you down about right here.
Yeah, I remember. This is
Yeah, 'cause-
where the stabbing happened.
And then, yeah, so.
It happened here, and then I threw her down here, and then she was on top of me, and that's when when I was getting choked out, and you know. This is, you could show up, it could be scheduled to film for 11 hours, but it can turn into 6 hours.
Correct.
Sometimes it's scheduled for 10 hours, it could turn into literally 21 hours.
Yep.
You know, I mean, you know, with, you know, some are just overshooting, you know, they're shooting on and on and on, different angles, different views. So with that being said, never underestimate this type of industry and this type of job. This is really not even a job. This is a life. This is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Where
To me,
you,
it's a privilege. You know, it's a privilege being able to just put something on film, watch it, right? Whether it's for fun, whether it's for, you know, some type of social media platform, or for the big screen. You know, it's a privilege to be casted. It's a privilege to, you know, be able to be around certain people that just love to make film or whatnot. It's not always a big payday. Yeah, we all want to get paid, but you have to start somewhere, right?
Absolutely.
And so this is where we start. This is where we grow from, and you go from there.
absolutely, I absolutely agree with you. I see that, you know, that we're both, such as, you know, your job too. I'm sure that you're doing a shift, and then once you're done with the shift, you gotta get going over to you know, set.
Oh, there's times when I'm working in between, you know,
Oh my
in
God.
between takes,
That's
right?
awesome.
So it's a grind. And then you mentioned it, right? Long days or whatnot. Sometimes you don't get that opportunity, because if you're trying to film a sunrise,
Yeah.
you know, casting calls at 4 a.m, get everything set. You know, sunrise can be at 5:30 if you're in Illinois or whatnot, or 7:30 if it's the winter time, or 8 a.m. or whatnot, or even the sunset. You know, whatever you're trying to film, that window is small.
Mm-hmm.
So, are you gonna try and do that in the span of 2-3 days? Most people don't want to do that.
Mhm.
So you better be on your A game for
Yes,
those
sir.
type of films.
Yes, sir.
But
The Interviewer with Beef Tech.